and welcome to the Fast Track Guide to Success for Your Sales Team. I really want to make sure that once you get your sales team, that you can actually start having some really good success with them. And this is kind of just the system that I've put together through trial and error, through developing my own team. So the first thing you need to do is you need to set the tone of your relationship with your salespeople. Number one, don't be afraid to fire them if they are breaking your rules or not producing the results that you want them to, okay? And you need to make them aware that you are going to hold them accountable. I think that a lot of people get really discouraged because there's the ads, they hire salespeople, and then they're like, hey, go produce results, or do what they do, and they flake away or they don't stay in contact. And what I've really learned is that you really need to hold the people responsible, and that you need to have a system in place so that you can easily duplicate it. And that's what I want to kind of share with you. So when you first meet, and this can be however it is you want, I mean, you've gone through the process, so let's quickly go through it. You've interviewed them. They are really interested and excited. They've sent you back the contracts. The contracts are signed. They have been sent the introduction package. They've watched the video, gone over the transcripts, and now you're going to meet. You can meet via a webinar. You can meet going out for lunch. You could just have a phone meeting, whatever it is that you choose. So when you first meet, you want to find out their level of comfort, okay, with the training material. I mean, it's pretty easy to grasp, but you want to find out where they are comfortably right now, okay? Then what you want to do is you want to determine the approach that they're most comfortable with, because I want my salespeople to be comfortable, because that comes across in sales. So I don't want them to do things that they're not comfortable doing. So what do they want to do? Do they want to do cold calling and call prospects? And do they want to network on top of that? Or do they want to physically go into businesses? Or do they want to go the workshop route and they want to try and get sponsors for that or fill rooms? I want them to start where they're going to feel most comfortable with. And then you can determine that method and create a plan of action. And it's really, 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 really important to note here that what they might first feel comfortable with doesn't work for them, and they transform it into something else. That's happened with a few of my reps, where they start saying, I want to go this route, I want to start this way. They start doing it, and they're not producing the results that they want. So we sit down and say, okay, hey, why don't we try this method instead? So you want to be flexible, and you actually, you need to not, I think a lot of people make the mistake, and I did at first too. I hired a sales rep, then I just let them go at it. They produce results, they produce results. If they didn't, they didn't. That was it. But it actually wasn't really working that well for me. So I've really found by doing this type of system that things are more clearly defined, people know what to expect, and they have something to actually aim for. So I do that with the first meeting, and then at that first meeting we determine, so are you cool with, or do you need some more training? And if they say, well, I think I need more training, then I say to them specifically, what are you uncomfortable with? Let them tell you. What are you uncomfortable with? Well, I need a little bit more clarification on, how Google domination really works, or what really is SEO, and don't be afraid to, if they ask you something and you really don't have the answer, say, okay, that's a really good question. Do you have a few more? Because what I'll do is we'll get your few questions, and then we'll set up a webinar when I have some time to really get into those things. So what did you just do there? You just bought yourself time to go research it or do whatever you need to do to present it to them. So, remember, even if you don't have the answers, you can, that's a really great approach. You get all the questions and say, listen, I want to go over all the questions that you have, and then what we'll do is we'll create a webinar, and I will go over all of that with you. And then hopefully by the end of it, you'll be comfortable. If not, and you've got more questions, then we'll try to address the questions. If they start asking questions you know the answers to, we'll just roll them off and just get right through them and see what else they need to get moving forward. So you need to make sure that you hold them accountable. And that is something that I'm really strict on now. We make a weekly check-in call where each week you review what they've done, what has worked, what has not, and figure out the direction you want them to take that week. I personally have my meetings Monday mornings at 10 a.m. And now, are there some Mondays where we don't make the meeting? Absolutely. That's okay, because sometimes life does get in the way. But generally, Monday mornings at 10 a.m. are our calls. And when you have more than one rep, you all get on the call. So all your reps are together, which is really great because then they can feed off each other's successes and stuff like that. But on those calls, I go over exactly, okay, so did you make your goals? What worked? What hasn't worked? What types of approaches are you guys using? What do you need help with? What do and we really make it just kind of like a mastermind and a powwow, and it's a great way to start off the week. And I always usually have it for an hour. So Monday mornings from 10 to 11, that's my morning, for that time. That's what I promised and dedicated to them. I think it's really, really, really important to stay in touch with them, because I have found that if you don't, they will disappear into the night. And you're like, okay, haven't heard from you in 3 weeks, haven't gotten a client. I mean, I just was so excited. I hired the sales rep and he was like, I'm going to go, 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 go. And a week later, I didn't hear anything. I emailed, and then a week later. So that's why I really created this system of, doing the training, creating where they're comfortable with, creating that action plan, defining that time with them, whether it's Mondays, Tuesdays, whatever, that they're going to guarantee that they will be on the call. And then I also stay in touch with them. I make sure to email them about every other day to see what kind of results they had. Because like I said, if you don't stay in contact with them, they just tend to flake right off and disappear. So actually, my reps are now starting to get into the habit of they email me. I'm not even emailing them anymore every other day. I may only email, if I haven't heard from them in a few days, I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? But that's how you want to get them to be. You want to get them to be trained so that they're going to be checking in with you. But at the beginning, so they're used to this, they have their calls on Monday, and you check in with them every other day via email, see how things are going, things are progressing, and you'll be in contact with them a lot more if there's some things of interest, like client meetings or big joint venture meetings or whatever. You'd obviously be in touch with them a lot more over that. But yeah, make it just part of your routine. And I have my calls Monday at 10, and on Wednesday and Friday mornings I do my check-in emails first things. So if I haven't heard from them, I do my check-ins. So that's just part of my system. That's part of my routine now, and I don't even think about it. That's just, it is what it is, and that's great. So if they're not staying in touch with you, okay, you need to remind them that it is extremely important, okay, that you know what they are doing. And that line of communication needs to consistently remain open. And I think what I was doing before, I think, giving too much power away. And like I said, I was hiring someone and kind of letting them just kind of do the shots and make them feel, oh, well, they're salespeople, so they've obviously got experience, and just letting them do what they want to do. That doesn't work. That didn't work for me anyways. This seems to be working really well, where I'm creating the authority, and I'm creating, like, this is exactly what we do. And if you want to follow the rules and we want to stick to this, that's great. If not, then you need to find something else. So, which really leads into don't be afraid to fire someone. Remember, there are plenty of people out there. Really, really remember that. If you have a person who is not staying in touch with you, they're not generating leads, heck, even if they are generating some leads, but they're not staying in touch with you, listen, just because someone might be generating some leads, if they're not following your system, if they're not following your rules, then how do you know what they're actually really relaying to the potential client? Because they show up as themselves all the time. So if they're showing up like that to you here, they're showing up like that to the clients. So really, that's something super, super important, right? People always show up as themselves. So if they're showing up to you in that kind of light where they're not listening, they're creating their own path, please know that the odds are they are showing up to your client, your potential client, that way too. So you don't want that. You want people who are actually going to be accountable, follow the system, because that's how you want them to show up. So I'm always honest and open. I really believe in being that. But I also believe in getting them excited about the opportunity they have. I really, and one of the ways I do that is I always keep showing them social proof, and there's so much of it. And you'll see in the video that I train with, okay, you'll see that I throw in news articles and I use things that corporations are doing, and I'll say, oh, well, Sears just put on their big flyer, follow us on Twitter. So if Sears, a huge department store, is now on Twitter and saying, follow us on Twitter for sales, and maybe that this is something important. Or if there's a big company like Liquidation World and they are running a VIP savings club where you enter your email online that they're promoting in their flyers, or in the store by ballots to sign up so you can receive email savings before anyone else does, maybe that's something that's effective and working, and I'll use examples of stuff like that, because people like social proof. And if it's working for the bigger companies, then it's gonna, it should work for small and medium-sized businesses as well. People love proof. They just, oh, wow, they love proof. So I always love delivering proof. Here's another thing that is really, really important. Create a 14-day action plan. So once we figured out what direction they want to take, whatever direction it is they want to take, we say, okay, in the next 14 days, I want to, what? I want you to, contact X amount of businesses in this area to book for consults or whatever, if it's the workshop route. So just figure out that 14-day plan, right? Because then they have somewhere to go, right? Think about this. People work best under structure usually, and that's what I'm finding is that, when I had people, I'm like, I was just kind of rolling with it, right? Because I was new to it. And I was like, okay, so I hired somebody, and okay, just go get me some clients. That's cool. I didn't give them any kind of structure, and I was getting frustrated because they were just not performing what how I wanted them to, and they weren't listening. So I've really found that when we create an action plan, it's something that gives them a direction, and people can follow direction, right? And if they can't follow direction, well, you're fired. Move on, next, right? So we create the 14-day action plan on what I want them to do in the next 14 days. Now, remember, they're not full-time staff, so let's not overwhelm them here. They're well, for me, I hire part-time people, right? If you're going to go with the method that I use, which is, hiring somebody who has some income, so they're not pressed and strapped for income, because I believe that comes out in sales pressure, and they start pressuring people. So, my people that I hire only work about 20 hours a week, if that, but yet they're producing tremendous results for me, because we've got action plans, and we keep revamping those action plans. Okay, so, and that's the beauty of having an action plan. We put together the 14 plan, and that's how I stay in, you'd have your 2 calls, your 2 Monday calls, or whatever days they are. How's it going on the action plan? And every other day, that's what we're referring to. How's the action plan going? So then at the end of the 14 days, what have been the results? Have there been any? Have there not been any? What type of feedback do you have? And that's where you have to realize, then you regroup, re-strategize, and move on, right? If, like I said, this is a true story of one of my best reps I found. Okay. She responded, and you'll see in the package, we were starting to target, we were going to do like a test market on just targeting restaurants. She responded to the restaurant ad. And she was really excited. We went through, she did the training video, she had the transcripts. We went out for lunch, and when we went out for lunch, we first realized that she really did a lot of fundraising. She had a lot of contacts with some big fundraising companies. And so she's like, I really want to do that. She's like, I know I have, the background with the hospitality industry, but my passion, I really love fundraising, and I really want to see if we can do these workshops where, they split the 50-50. And I said, great. I would have never known that if I didn't take the time to talk with her and start getting to know a little bit about her. So that's key, get to know what their likes are, what they do, and and it was kind of coming out that she really likes, she does a lot of work for charities. Now, this is something really, really important, so I'm going to say it again. There's more than one way to have your salesperson be active. And start talking to them about the different options. And say, so what do you think you would feel more comfortable with? And they will tell you. But so she started with the fundraising. And we did our 14-day plan, and things were, going, but they weren't going as much as we wanted to. And she said, geez, I don't know, Kara, I'm not going to get discouraged, and I know that this is a process because you've really explained it well, and I have. I've really made it clear to her that this is something that you can build to be very, very large. So, okay, all right, let's think about this. What else can we do to, she's like, but I really love the workshop method, and I really want, okay, so how about we brainstorm on our Monday meeting, and let's see some other things that you can start trying. And that's what we did. And a new direction came, and then she had success with that direction. So, but even if she didn't, let's say that didn't work, then we brainstorm, and and the thing is that you just need to realize, and you need to let your salespeople know that sometimes you got to find what groove works for you, and that's part of sales, right? I mean, anyone who's in sales should really know that that's just part of sales. You got to find your groove and go with it. So, in the end, remember that this too is a numbers game, okay? Just like, if it takes you 15 business contacts to land one deal, it's the same with getting a sales team. It is a numbers game. It's okay to filter through lots of salespeople. The key is to making it a system so that it's something you can easily reproduce, right? So in my system, I have my ads. They're already pre-written. Now that system's there, I just know on, Monday mornings, I post a different ad each Monday in a different place, right? That's a system I know. And so on Monday mornings, first thing, when you get up and whatever system you want to put, I go and I keep it. So I'm keeping that in the pipeline. I'm keeping more resumes coming through, right? I have the system of when resumes come through, I have an email I send to them. I have, you know what I mean? It's a template I copy and paste. So it's not I've already taken the time to set it up. Before, I got really overwhelmed because I was running all these ads and people were emailing me, and I'm just like typing like crazy here, there, and there. Instead, then it finally dawned on me that, maybe Kara should have a template saved here. So, another email came in wanting more information. Okay, I'll open up my Word doc, I'll copy and paste, and boom, it's a system now. So you just need to make sure that you keep putting the ads out, finding new people, and eventually, or even quickly, it just depends, you will find some good people. You really, really will. And the good people, man, once you get them, just bring your business to a whole new level. So I really hope that this has helped you guys out some. It took me a little bit to figure out how to create a system that works well for me, and I really hope that you implement some of this so you can create a system that'll work well for your business. All right, thanks a lot.